Imagine a land fractured for centuries, torn apart by warring kingdoms, each vying for supremacy. This was the China of the Warring States period, a time of constant conflict and chaos. Then, from the ashes of this division, rose one man whose name would echo through millennia, Ying Zheng, who would become Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. His story is not just one of conquest, but of radical transformation, of monumental creation, and of brutal tyranny. Today, we delve into the life of the man who forged an empire. Born in 259 BC, Ying Zheng was a prince of the state of Qin, one of the 7 major kingdoms fighting for control. At the tender age of 13, he ascended the throne of Qin. Many might have seen a child king as a weakness, but Ying Zheng possessed a vision and a ruthlessness that belied his years. Guided by his brilliant and pragmatic chancellor, Li Si, he set his sights on a goal that seemed impossible: the unification of all under heaven. Starting in 230 BC, the Qin war machine, the most formidable of its time, began its final relentless campaign. One by one, the other 6 states fell: Han, Zhao, Wei, Xiegu, Yan, and finally Qi. By 221 BC, the centuries-long era of the Warring States was over. The land was united for the first time. Standing atop his victory, King Zheng was no longer just a king. He created a new title for himself, one befitting his unprecedented achievement: Shi Huangdi, or First Emperor. The Qin Dynasty had begun, and with it, the imperial era of China. But conquering the land was only the beginning. Ruling it was the true challenge. Qin Shi Huang knew that to prevent China from fracturing again, he had to erase the very divisions that had defined it for so long. He embarked on a series of sweeping, revolutionary reforms aimed at standardizing every aspect of life. Imagine traveling from one state to another, where the money in your pocket was useless, the measurements for grain were different, and even the written word was unintelligible. The emperor changed all that. He standardized the currency, creating a single monetary system with round coins featuring a square hole in the middle. He unified weights and measures, ensuring that a pound of rice in the north was the same as a pound of rice in the south. He even standardized the width of chariot axles, which might sound strange, but it meant that all vehicles could travel on the same ruts in the newly constructed road network, dramatically improving transportation and communication across his vast empire. Perhaps his most enduring legacy in this regard was the standardization of the writing system. While different regions had developed their own scripts, he mandated the use of the Qin script across the empire. This single act had a profound and lasting impact, creating a unified cultural and administrative identity that has bound China together for over 2,000 years. A scholar in Beijing today read texts from Qin Shi Huang's time, a direct result of this policy. To govern his new empire, the first emperor abolished the old feudal system, where aristocratic lords ruled their own territories. Instead, he established a centralized bureaucracy. He divided the empire into 36 commanderies, each administered by officials, appointed directly by him. This merit-based system, where officials were chosen for their ability rather than their birthright, was a radical departure from the past and laid the foundation for China as imperial administration for centuries to come. With his empire unified and its system standardized, Qin Shi Huang turned his attention to massive construction projects, endeavors on a scale never before seen. The most famous of these is, of course, the Great Wall. It's important to note that he didn't build the entire wall we see today. Much of that was built during the later Ming Dynasty. What he did was connect and fortify a series of existing defensive walls built by the former northern states. He sent hundreds of thousands of workers, including soldiers and convicts, to create a unified barrier against the nomadic Xiongnu tribes to the north. It was a brutal, deadly undertaking, but it established the first semblance of a continuous Great Wall. He also ordered the construction of a vast network of imperial roads. These weren't just simple paths. They were wide, straight highways designed for the rapid movement of his armies and for his own inspection tours. This network connected the capital, Xianyang, to the farthest reaches of his empire, shrinking the vast distances and tightening his grip on power. Another engineering marvel was the Ling Canal. Built in the south, this canal connected the Xiang and Li rivers, which flowed in opposite directions. This incredible feat of hydraulic engineering linked the Yangtze River system with the Pearl River system, allowing his armies to be supplied during their southern campaigns and opening up crucial trade routes between northern and southern China. The Ling Canal is still in use today, a testament to the ingenuity of Qin Dynasty engineers. But for all his genius in unification and construction, there was a dark side to Qin Shi Huang's rule. He was an absolute authoritarian who tolerated no dissent. His philosophy was guided by legalism, a school of thought that advocated strict laws and harsh punishments to maintain order. To consolidate his ideological control, he launched one of history's most infamous campaigns against intellectual freedom. In 213 BC, he ordered the burning of books and burying of scholars, all historical records, save for those of the Qin state, and all philosophical texts, especially those of Confucianism, which he saw as a threat, were to be burned. Scholars who dared to oppose him or hide forbidden texts were reportedly executed, some allegedly buried alive. This act was a devastating blow to the intellectual heritage of ancient China, a scar on the emperor's legacy. As he grew older, Qin Shi Huang became obsessed with another, more personal quest, the search for immortality. He dispatched expeditions to find the mythical elixir of life and surrounded himself with alchemists who promised him eternal youth. It's a great irony that these elixirs, often containing mercury, likely hastened his death rather than preventing it. His fear of death and his desire to rule in the afterlife fueled his final, and perhaps most astonishing project, his own mausoleum. For decades, a massive workforce toiled near modern-day Xi'an to construct an underground city for their emperor. At its heart was a tomb said to contain a replica of his empire, with rivers of mercury and ceilings studded with pearls to represent the stars. Guarding this tomb was an army unlike any other. In 1974, farmers digging a well stumbled upon one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of all time. The army they had found, the silent guardians of Qin Shi Huang's tomb. Thousands of life-sized terracotta soldiers, each with a unique face, along with horses and chariots, stood in battle formation, ready to protect their emperor in the afterlife. The sheer scale and artistry of this underground army are breathtaking and speak volumes about the power and resources the first emperor commanded. In 210 BC, while on an inspection tour of his eastern provinces, Qin Shi Huang died. Fearing that news of his death would trigger an immediate rebellion, his most trusted officials, including his chancellor Li Si and the chief eunuch Zhao Gao, kept his death a secret. They placed his body in his chariot and continued the tour as if he were still alive, even bringing cartloads of salted fish to mask the smell of his decomposing body. This deception allowed them to forge the emperor's will and place his weaker younger son on the throne, setting the stage for the dynasty's rapid collapse. The Qin Dynasty, built on the singular will of one man, barely outlasted him. The harsh laws, heavy taxes, and brutal forced labor created immense resentment among the populace. Within 4 years of his death, widespread rebellions erupted, and the dynasty he thought would last for 10,000 generations crumbled, lasting a mere 15 years. So how do we remember Qin Shi Huang? Was he a visionary hero who forged a nation, or a cruel tyrant who ruled through fear? The truth is, he was both. His methods were brutal, his rule oppressive, but his achievements were monumental. He unified a warring land, created a single cultural and political identity, and established the administrative framework that would define China for the next 2 millennia. He is the man who created China as we know it. His legacy is a complex tapestry of creation and destruction, a powerful reminder of the profound and often contradictory nature of great historical figures. Thank you for joining us on this journey back in time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into history. Let us know in the comments which historical figure you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching.